Hey, everybody. It's Natalie Bencavanga, and I am here tonight with my friend and award-winning artist, that's for sure, Frzy. How are you tonight?
Oh man, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me in the building, in the lobby, and on the roof. Wow.
I'm so glad that you're here. I wanted to have a conversation around what is going on in America as it relates to
Mhm.
racism and free speech in light of a lot of things that have been happening really in the past 5 days. And I thought, who better to talk about it with than an artist and someone who makes a living because of our freedom of speech and freedom of expression. So thank you for
Absolutely.
being here with me.
No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. I think this hits in home, not even close to home, right? Like
Mm.
in home. And I think it's a conversation that's necessary. So I'm here for it. I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you. Here's what we're going to do tonight, you guys. We are going to talk about several topics. We're going to start by discussing what is going on in Mississippi.
Mhm.
Two men were found hanging in separate incidences from trees within the past 24 hours. What is going on? This, of course, is on the heels of a chilling reminder that multiple historically Black universities were under lockdown after receiving threats, of course, following Charlie Kirk, the podcaster's death. And JD Vance has been taking up his mantle and his spot on his show using that platform, which I found fascinating. We're going to be discussing what that means for free speech. And speaking of freedoms in general, the Trump regime has turned their attention to attack progressive nonprofits that they believe are somehow connected to political violence when they have absolutely no shred of evidence to suggest that. And we're going to end talking about what Trump said earlier today to an ABC reporter, basically saying that if you criticize him, he is going to come after you. What does this mean for dissent and, of course, freedom of speech from singers and songwriters' perspective, like Frizzy's? So let's start, though, with what we know about the hanging deaths of two men in Mississippi. So on Monday, there were two hanging deaths reported in Mississippi, one in Vicksburg and another on the campus of Delta State University. Around 7 a.m., the body of Trey Reed, who was just 21 years old, a Black student at Delta State, was found hanging from a tree on the university's campus. These are ongoing investigations, so
Right.
I don't want to put any information out there that hasn't yet been reported on. They are not saying whether this was a homicide or a suicide, that this is an ongoing death investigation. And what's odd about this is because there was yet another one that happened in the same state, and the body of Corey Zuka- Zu- Zukatis, who was a white male and a Brandon resident, he was found hanging in a wooded area near a casino. And he was living in that area. He was on drugs, apparently, and homeless. But at the same time, this just is raising a lot of alarm bells with our activists and concerns around one, attacks on the Black community as well as attacks on our homeless population. And these are two groups of people that have really come under fire
Right.
recently. So I just wanted to touch base about both of these things and what they mean for safety and what they mean as we look at America's issues with racism and with classism. So, Frizzy, let's first talk about what happened with Trey Reed. What were your initial reactions or feelings concerning his death?
It's an interesting space to be in. I think especially as an African American, somebody Black in this country.
Hmm.
You go through the emotional roller coaster that you've written a million times,
Yeah.
right? At this point, you stop getting dizzy, you stop getting nauseous, you start expecting each turn and each loop, or your
Hmm.
body adjusts to that danger. You get desensitized from this space. But it creates this. I feel like every every Black person within the culture got like this mental email, right? This mental
Hmm.
warning of, okay, let's be careful out here, right? Because I think what is happening and what we're seeing is an emboldening this
Hmm.
of racism of and this is what makes it scary. I know we'll touch on it later about what Vance is doing, what Trump is doing, but they're creating a space where this is allowed,
Yeah.
right? Creating a space where this is celebrated. And his death should be the number one story right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about modern day lynchings, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw a creator that I follow on TikTok. She's phenomenal. I'm so mad I forget her name or her handle right now. But she was saying that she got the news while she was in the Black History class, and she was teaching. They were talking about lynching in the
Mm-hmm.
postcards, and she said she got that news, and it was insane that we're talking about right back then to
Yeah.
2025, and that these articles can exist at the same time.
Yeah.
It's concerning. It's concerning is being kind.
Yes, I agree. And I think there was a lot of fear, and then we see this second incident, and there was a lot of, misinformation around what was going on or who it happened to. But once again, I think it raises a lot of questions with Corey's death
Hmm.
around the panic we have with people who are on drugs and who are experiencing homelessness, and how we have normalized the experience of homelessness in the United States and walk past people but don't actually see them. And
Right.
I know these experiences of racism and classism are not the same, but I think with when we're talking about non-white Americans and we're talking about low income or people who are living in poverty or unhoused, the idea of not being seen in their full humanity very
Hmm.
much intersects.
Right.
And
Right.
for me, it just felt like, once again, there's all this attention around whose life has value and
Yeah.
whose life doesn't. Whose
Right.
life is being put in on the front pages, like you said, and
Right.
whose life isn't. And so when you think of the history of this country, I think,
I say that. I was just
y-
about to go into it. Go ahead.
yes, please, please.
Yeah.
How does that feel, and the heaviness of that when you're trying to make sense of the isms that are
Mm.
experienced?
Well, let's think about the fact that our country. I know a lot of it thinks that it was founded on racism, right?
Yeah.
Which obviously was in the mix of the concrete that was poured into the foundation.
Hmm.
But I think that we also need to have the conversation about what classism really is,
Yeah.
what that did to white America in the
Hmm.
beginning, and how race was a construct created by the rich in order to make what the lower class white population feel
Hmm.
like they were better than the blacks, right? Oh well, no, you don't want to be around them. You're white just like us, so we can right. And we talk about how many people in this modern day and era are on right Obamacare and on
Yeah.
Medicaid and on food stamps, and that it is
Hmm.
primarily right the lower class white
Hmm.
population here.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
the stigma is that it is black. Now you like you said, we have seen um the the homeless, the unhomed, the unhoused really be attacked recently within the
Hmm.
last few weeks. But let's talk about a couple of days ago on Fox News when we have them sitting on a morning show and they're talking about arrest or move, and then we have a host on national TV say forced euthanizations.
Oof.
So now you have these people listening and they go, "Oh, well then you're right. Let's just why we got to find somewhere to put them? Let's just put them in the ground." And
Hmm.
you have a place like Mississippi that is famous for lynchings, that is famous for right
Yeah. Yeah.
for hangings, and they go, I could see someone looking, and this is obviously speculation, but I see someone looking and going, well, let me deal with that problem myself. Let me
Yeah.
give America permission to look at this and say, hey, let's just get rid of them. Fox News said it.
Hmm.
Hannity said it.
Hmm.
Right,
Hmm.
these
Hmm.
places are moving up in this population, and it's disgusting to see that it's happening in real life, and that they won't take that responsibility. Tonight,
Yeah.
we won't see them on there saying, "I shouldn't have said that out loud. I'm going to
Hmm.
condemn that action. Let's make that happen." But it'll just get swept under the rug. It will not be a conversation. We have things at half mast, right? These flags will
Yeah.
be at full mast
Hmm.
today, tomorrow.
Hmm.
Um, it's just it's mind blowing to me to see the comparisons once again of our history repeating itself in a cycle continuously, and now we're seeing it come to fruition.
I mean, white supremacy is one hell of a drug.
Oh,
You,
come on,
you know, and
come on,
anyone can internalize it. Anyone from
anyone.
any background, right? There's always room for people to be deluded buy this idea. And I wanted to go back to your point where you were talking about how rich white people convinced poor white people that race should be a thing they should care about. They were doing that because they were starting to organize together.
Exactly.
Black people and white people in that time of history were starting to organize and say, hey, this isn't fair. We're the ones that are growing the food and handling all of these things on the land. Why are these rich people taking? And that couldn't be. And so to your point, these are social constructs, as is sexism.
Absolutely.
Right? So all the isms and what we're seeing playing out between what's going on with the homeless population, people who are suffering from drug addiction, our Black and brown neighbors, and of course, ICE, I think is really the epitome of what happens when rhetoric goes out of control. And when we're looking at these things, to your point, they have damning consequences. And I want to bring us to an article from ABC News that was on September 11th that said, chilling reminder, multiple historically Black universities were under lockdown after receiving threats. This was right after Charlie Kirk, the podcaster's assassination or murder. We had no idea at that point who the murderer was. And when we found out that it was a white male named Tyler Robinson, who is white, male, and gun obsessed, who has Republican parents, right? Who dressed up as Trump for Halloween. These are just facts. These are things you can look up online easily.
Absolutely.
For whatever reason, people were still trying to make this a thing where the left had done this kind of political violence. And who did they attack? They wanted to attack historically Black universities. I know you're shocked, Frzy.
Which is it, right?
I know you're shocked.
It's just...
Black people have never been scapegoats, ever, right? It's like, no, come on, not here.
Why would they look at us? We just over here. What? Right? Why would they? I mean, we had a whole successful community in Tulsa. Why would they burn it down?
What? Imagine.
They want us to win. It's insane that the fact that these HBCUs were created because of this construct.
Thank you.
The campuses were created in that space. But you have this, what you're seeing here is opportunity, right? They're looking for a reason to burn down the house. They're looking for a reason to justify racism, to go, oh, well, that person shot that person. Now let's think about it. Besides the DC sniper, we're not seeing any political violence, right? There has been none. Pretty sure, I'm confident in you. I can Google and tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's been no mass shootings on HBCU campuses. Now remember, right? Black on Black crime, right? Blacks commit the most crimes, right? We have a collection of Blacks in one spot that is one of the most peaceful, right? Peaceful school areas that in America. But they go, I need a reason for my hate to be okay. Because this shooting happened. And what they don't understand is that it reveals the racism so much, right? Because they go, this shooting happens, it had to have been Black people, because Black people don't like what Kirk says. They think it's racist. So now let me threaten them and let them know, oh, you want to fight fire with fire? You're not, at this point, you're fighting fire with air. You're not even, somebody picked up a call and was like, that's who we need to take this out on. And I don't understand it. Now, when you get the evidence that it is a white male coming from a Republican family that is gun obsessed, right? We're now not even, the conversation still doesn't change. They go, oh, word, but still, they could have done it. They could have. And now I'm at this space where I found a way to loop this all around with the hanging and the blissful ignorance that comes from these white supremacists, these mega Republicans, is if I found a homeless man dead in Jerusalem, dead in Jerusalem on a cross, crucified on a cross on a hill, would I not believe that whoever murdered this man and crucified him had a religious intent? Maybe knew a little bit about the Bible, maybe wasn't. So when we find a Black man and at this point even a white man hung in Mississippi, the place right where Jim Crow was from.
Yes.
Why would I not go, oh, this is definitely racism. This is
Yeah,
you got to know something about some racist history to hang somebody from a tree, and
that's right. The isms is where I keep going back because, to your point, this Corey, who was white, was not white. He was
right,
homeless and he was addicted to drugs. So
right,
therefore, he in some way loses his status of a person that we care about
right,
and becomes the other because he
right.
has been vilified. And
Mm-hmm.
if you notice, it's not enough anymore to vilify people based off of the color of their skin or their immigration status. We are now vilifying people because they cannot survive under end stage capitalism that is destroying our communities and our neighbors and our friends and ourselves, right? We have internalized this level of capitalism that the only way it survives is really the triangle of death, which is capitalism at the top, and you've got
Yep.
white supremacy and sexism on the other side. It is the only way these three pillars can work is with each other.
Exactly. And
So,
as long as that triangle is on the back of the American dollar,
ooh,
you feel what I'm saying?
I do.
So you're absolutely right. I mean, we have a Supreme Court telling this administration that it's okay to judge people based off of the way that they look.
Literally.
Literally. Like, this is not even like you just stop me because no more stop and frisk. We're dealing with this. I told somebody the other day, and I know we didn't really touch on this. We probably won't get a chance to, but I just want to squeeze this in here.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about moments of silence in the NFL,
Mm-hmm.
and people being outraged that people are outraged and being like, this is great. This is the NFL. That's what I'm saying about this is a political assassination. We need to make sure we say some love and play some race. Y'all forget about, but Colin Kaepernick couldn't be on the knee at
Right.
all.
No.
Fact. No,
No.
this is black people getting killed. But no, we can't blackball him. Get him out of here.
That's right.
Right? Any player that wants to kneel, any player in the NBA that wants to kneel, you want to wear a t-shirt, get him out of here. Shut up and
Mm-hmm.
dribble. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
But now we can put a football down. We don't have to run with the football anymore. We can let's just be quiet.
Yeah.
It's just, I can't. It's insane.
Well, it's also like you're allowed to find success in certain spaces as long as you keep your mouth shut.
That's true. And I mean, luckily, I guess we are lucky that black women do not play football, right? Because if they did, I mean, because from Charlie's standpoint, if you saw black women are qualified, but also if I saw a black pilot, I was getting on the plane, I'd be like, oh, I don't know if he's qualified, but I guess we're qualified enough to run with a football and run into each other.
That's right.
And pay him respect, and that makes all the sense in the world in the stadium over 100,000 people. I can't.
Yes.
Girl, I can't.
No, I'm with you. It's just, it reminds me of how much of a double standard exists in this country, right? And,
absolutely.
And that sort of leads me into our next point around Charlie Kirk's death and Vance. And recently, BBC reported that Vance has basically said to people, report those who celebrate Charlie Kirk's death to employers. So people who celebrate the killing of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk should be held accountable, said U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance. Call them out and call their employer. He said as he guest hosted an episode of the Charlie Kirk Show after Charlie died. This was like yesterday. No.
Right.
Okay. He says, we don't believe in political violence, but we do believe in civility. I had a moment where I laughed because, Frzy, you have to, but it also was so wild to me that the same people, if you recall, they didn't want a bakery. This woman didn't want to have to make a cake for a same-sex couple that was getting married. Yep. And this whole thing went wild. And everybody said she shouldn't have to do that on the right. She shouldn't have to make that cake. You know, she's entitled to make a cake for whoever she wants. But on the flip side, they're saying if you don't basically bow down to the throne of Charlie Kirk and his memory, full bow, you should basically be fired from your job. Explain to me the difference.
How does that make sense? How does that make sense? This is the irony.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta rub my eyes with
I know. Take a minute, baby, because it's just too much, you know?
Look, you're cooking and it smell good. You're cooking today and it smells good. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If
Mm,
I'm wrong, tell me to shut it out. George Floyd's
yeah.
murder was
Mm-hmm.
during the
Mm-hmm.
first Trump administration. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Shout out to Black Lives Matter. Shout out to everything that happened. And RIP to George Floyd.
Mm,
That happens. Now, when that happens, we're having TikTok challenges. We're
yeah.
having costumes, right? We're having people protesting against it, right? And we're
Mm.
saying that people making jokes about it on TV. The hatred that came from that to him, his family, and his daughter, crucial. Okay,
Oh,
let's remember that, right? Let's remember the police officer that murdered him.
yeah.
Now we fast forward to Charlie being an advocate for getting him out of jail. He is now one of the people that is pushing for that officer to be pardoned to get
Yeah.
out.
Mm,
Then he gets murdered, and then even when we get to Bond, he's saying hate speech will not be allowed, and like you were just saying, him going on that podcast and saying that if you talk anything, you say anything. Well, let's start in the White House, Vance. Let's start
thank
with your
you.
boss. Let's
Mm,
start with True Social Post. I can go crazy with it. Right? So the fact that you feel like the murder of this black man and the white man that did it is okay.
yeah.
Let's work to get him out. The man who's the head of the campaign to get him out gets murdered, and you go, but that don't talk, don't say anything bad about him ever.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
make you lose your job. What are you talking about?
What are you talking? Like this is so wild to me that the party of free speech is the party that claims that they have the right to say anything
Anything.
that they want is now going to crack down on, of course, free speech where people do not agree with them.
But we hate China, right? Mm. But we hate
Listen,
China. When you can't in those societies where you can't say what you want, right?
right,
When you can't just speak out or you
right.
lose your job or you can go to jail. We don't like them. We're better than
Mm-hmm.
them, right? According to Trump. Yet, uh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I cut you off. You got it.
No. And I made a video about this earlier. And to me, this is really a power grab and an excuse for a
Yes.
political and cultural purge.
Purge.
And
Mm.
I think that's where we really need to take our focus because I was reading now this. I'm pulling up the Independent and basically, oh no, where did it go? My article disappeared, but I know it anyway. And it wasn't from the Independent, it was from ABC. And it was basically saying that Trump is now going after reporters, specifically anyone who speaks badly about him. And I know everybody's like, oh, Natalie, he's been saying this. Well, it was very pointed and very directed at a specific reporter
Yep.
today
Yep.
who brought something up that Trump didn't like. And he looked right at him and he said, and maybe we're going to come for you first, basically. I'm paraphrasing. And
Right.
so
Or right after
what
celebrating how much money he won in the lawsuit in the first place.
right. And what concerns me here is they are using this moment because these people that have infiltrated our government, these white Christian fundamentalists,
Yep.
they are using this moment as a true opportunity to usurp power and concentrate it into fewer and fewer hands. And they needed a way to grab America's attention. And so with this situation with Kirk, they have found their way
Yep.
to do that. And now they're going to blame shift as much as they can, including now they're going after nonprofits,
Which is wild.
which is wild. That had absolutely nothing to do with Kirk, that fight for human rights and social justice and all of the things that they claim, this idea of civility.
Right.
They're going now in attack on them. So, like, I don't understand,
Yeah.
other than this is the perfect opportunity to grab as much power as we can.
As we
And
can.
Frizzy, where does this end?
Ask me in 3 years.
I
Right.
know.
I think the scary thing, and he'll be gone before then. I promise you that. But
Mm,
the thing, when you started to go down that list, I was waiting for you to say museums, right?
mm,
Because because you could have swapped out anything. You could have swapped out and put museums in that sentence and it would have made sense. You could have swapped out and put HBCU in that sentence and it would have made sense, right? You could have swapped out and put sports organizations, news broadcasters, any news station. You could put libraries and books in that conversation. They have been trying to execute this as much as possible. And luckily, we've had a whole bunch of judges like federal judges being able to block that, which now they can't because the court of the land, right? The Supreme Court has stopped that. So it's just, I mean, even the conversation based on filibusters, we could go so many different spaces where this power grab has become, and now, unfortunately, Charlie is not a martyr. He's become an instrument.
Ooh, a weapon.
Come on.
Listen.
He's become a weapon.
And they've turned it and they're pointing it. And because I wanted to make sure I had the name correct, that's why I was looking down. One of the organizations that the Trump administration has turned this instrument weapon towards is the Southern Poverty Law Center. The Southern Poverty Law Center is dedicated to creating a world where Black and brown communities are represented and respected by our democracy. This organization has absolutely nothing to do at all with what has happened to Charlie Kirk, and yet that is who Vance and Trump want to go after. Take this in, everyone, because we are at a moment right now where we really need to figure out, where do we go from here? If this is the trajectory of the United States, I do not care what political party you are affiliated with, how you identify, this will matter and this will impact you and your rights. And I think that's what scares me, Frzy, is people are so blinded by their silo and their what's being told to them that they're not taking a moment to think, well, wait a minute, who's telling me this information and what is their reason?
Because they can't be wrong. Because being wrong is embarrassing. And we know now that no one wants to be embarrassed. No one wants to be wrong. Everyone is important. Everyone has to feel special. And it loops us back around to the classism back, right? We keep looping back around to the powerful rich, making the poor white feel like they are a part of the powerful rich. That these effects and these things will not affect them in that way, right? And so you have people laughing and joking about slavery being back. You have Trump talking about, oh, well, we're just going to let the farmers decide, and then, you know, like literally bringing back modern day slavery in that space. And then these farmers don't go, well, the farmers go, that's cool with me, as long as you keep us good. But now we're seeing that they need to bail out as well. So just the connections of everything you're saying, it's going to take, and I hate to say this, but this takes us back to even ending of slavery. We need not only allies, right, but we need white support. We need them to be able to go, hey, that's not okay.
Yeah.
That's not okay. Or to be like, hey, you know what? You want to be, and we talked about this earlier off camera, is I call it the John McCain. Right. We need him to, when he was in that rally and the lady's like, well, I heard Obama is a Muslim. And he's like, hey, we're not going to do, that's not what we're going to do. We're not going to do that. And was able to stop her, and you never heard of it again. So if Trump really isn't racist, then immediately when the Proud Boys or immediately when the KKK comment on something, or they use a banner or they use something, for him to go, hey, take that down. Don't have my face next to you. What are you doing? Oh, those threats to the HBCU. Hey, what this murder was terrible. The HBCU ain't got nothing to do with this. Don't call them. Don't do that. You're making us as a people look bad. It's because he's not worried about them as a people, because he can only see them as a people when he looks down. You know what I mean? So.
Absolutely. And I think too, you know, he's had multiple opportunities. We know who he is.
Oh,
we've known who he was since the 1980s. Okay. Listen. In bold letters. And so
let's talk about the loss. Let's talk about the
oh
fact.
my God. So it's just like, for people that have decided that nothing is a deal breaker, I don't think we're going to get to them at this point. And what I mean by get to them, I mean is get them to awaken to the truth and to the reality that this man is a con artist and does not care about you. But what he's very good at is pointing the finger at somebody else and going, it's their fault. They're the reason that you're having this issue. It's not me, even though I'm literally the one doing it, right? So I think there is this sense of a grifter's going to grift, and he has basically been able to do that off the backs of the Americans now for decades. But the fact that his family has made billions of dollars while he sits in office, if that doesn't raise alarms, I'm not sure at this point what does. If you're just joining us, I'm Natalie Bencavanga, and I'm with my friend, recording artist and award winner, Frzy, and we are talking a little bit tonight about what is going on in Mississippi, what is happening with Charlie Kirk and the fallout of that, and of course, how our free speech is under attack. And Frzy, I wanted to sort of wrap this conversation up with really your thoughts as an artist. You know, you're a rapper, you're a performer, you're a musician, you're a creative.
Yeah.
When you see what is going on from your perspective, also as a Black man in America,
Absolutely,
as wearing all of these identities, what concerns you about the future? Because in my experience, these regimes always come for the artists and the free thinkers first.
Yep, up first.
And now, yeah, exactly. Because you get them to open their minds through the connections of the arts. What do you want to say to people right now?
You know, I need people to understand that besides the fact that my livelihood is based on free speech, right? It's based on the creativity of that we know. And and obviously poetry and different forms of free speech are important. But just even speaking about music is known as the universal language.
Right.
It's a language that we all can understand. It's a language that we all can relate to. We even seen in, fried green tomatoes, when the aliens come, we even communicate with them with music. I think that what is scary is, especially me as an artist, always saying I got bars, but literally I could get bars from this. From having a moment where one of the biggest hip hop artists ever, YG, has a song called F Donald Trump, right? That it becomes this anthem, from Ice Cube to F the Police, right? These songs have become iconic within our time frame because they speak to what's necessary.
Yeah.
You cannot have a world that is created for everyone if creatives are not allowed to create. We're not allowed to speak on our own opinions in our own spaces. If we're not allowed to usher people into arenas that are free and full of, seatings and shows, and that's the thing that's so great. I mean, even going to a place as little as someone like Hamilton that rewrites that history in a beautiful way within music. So what you're telling me, that if Donald Trump goes to that show and doesn't like that Hamilton is played by a Black guy and not one, that the show is over or the show is done? We're talking about one person. We're talking about one person. Now, the most powerful person in the land, he can say whatever he wants. People can say whatever they want. It does not make it true. And I want to let people know to just hold them accountable. Hold the person that's holding the pencil as responsible as you hold the pencil that's touching the paper. That to me is the crucial thing. I know we're about to go, but I want to do a little analogy because Halloween's coming up, of course, right? One of my favorite and most iconic movies ever is Scream. Everybody knows Scream, right? And the killer is Ghostface. Now, what makes Ghostface so dope and so cool is that he's not a superhero, or she, right? It can be anyone. They have a knife, killing people. They're not like an army vet or somebody that's trained in the art of knife. They're just out here killing people. And when I was younger, I always thought to myself, if we know that this killer is running around killing people with a knife, why don't we all just get together and jump him? Right? Yes, a couple of us are going to get stabbed. But at the end of the day, what can he do? He don't have no superpower. He got no monster. Let's just jump him. And then you look at this movie and you realize no one ever jumps him. And you hear the joke of, let's split up and go different directions, right?
Right.
So I want to just sit with Congress and watch Scream and ask them why they think no one just got together and beat him up. Why? What are they so scared of?
Yeah.
If everybody rallied together and said, no, we're not doing that.
Right.
No, we're not. No, that's not happening. That's not okay. That's not good. They go, oh, well, you're changing the Department of
everything.
The Department of Defense to the Department of War. And the reporter goes, doesn't Congress have to vote on that? And he goes, I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, we're doing it anyway, and we'll just make them do it later on. Wait, what? Yeah. That's not. And then Congress over there like, I mean, we'll vote on it when we vote on it. What are you talking? we have to hold people responsible, and we have to hold them accountable. And yes, there is free speech, but there is not free consequences.
Ooh. And to be clear, because of the
Hmm.
world we live in, I know what you were saying is
Oh yeah, I don't want to kill him. Right.
no, we're talking about collective action,
Yes.
basically organizing so that we can stand up to people that do not have our best interests at heart
Right.
and block them with our political and collective power. And that reminds me of unions. And I do a lot with unions here on this show because I remind people of the power of the collective. And I think what the Trump regime has done really well is reduce that feeling and make it feel like it's every person for themselves. And so
Absolutely.
you have to have that in a hierarchical, male-dominated capitalist structure, right? Because there has to be losers in order for there to be winners.
There has to be. We don't even make that many participation trophies.
Thank you. There's no such thing. Okay. So
Don't
I
want no
think
ribbon.
there's no ribbons. So I think it's an important point to note here when we're talking about how we stand up to bullies, and it's through collective action and collective
Very
power.
much
And
so.
I think we have to acknowledge if in order to do that, we have to cross gender and racial and socioeconomic lines. We have to put aside whether people are documented or not and look at ourselves as the working class America, which really does constitute about 99% of this country. And we could restore the integrity and be able to actually work towards what it would look like for the American dream to actually exist. Because I don't think it ever did. I think
Right.
it's always been a aspirational thing. Some people anecdotally may have felt like they achieved it, but I think it could be. We could be all the things that we chose to aspire to be at certain points in our historical narrative that we tell ourselves. But in order to do that, we have to do some real healing. And the first step is to acknowledge that we are sick.
Well, growing up as a that hit me in the temple. Growing up as a black man, I used to think that the American dream was a marketing ploy to everyone who wasn't an American.
Yeah.
Right. I used to think about the kids in Paris or the kids in London or someone who wants to be the best of the best and look for the best opportunity. I mean, we've seen it in movies where they go, I just got to make it to America and I can be great.
Yeah.
That's what they want. Right. And it's interesting that that's the line. And then Trump's regime uses make America great again. But every move that they're making is destroying the American dream. Right. The opportunity. That's why we say there shouldn't even be any billionaires in the first place. Right. There's not a good billionaire. So when you sit back and, like you say, you hit on it where no one wants to come here anymore, where there's different countries are saying that they're not going to fly in here, and our tourism money has gone down tremendously. It's hard to watch. And now I've never had a chance. I travel a lot. I've been traveling the world, and I get embarrassed to say I'm an American when I go places.
I know.
Right. And the fact that when I go places, people look at me and they go, "You're an American, but you're black, so you definitely don't support Trump."
Oh man.
They know it instantly.
Wow.
It's incredible to me. I was like, well, how do you not know? Well, you got to be white for Trump to like you. They know it. But we are the new hot country, right? We're the hottest in the streets. Come on, man.
Come on.
Come on.
I think once again, it goes back to that delusion. And if you're just joining us, if you have any questions or comments, I know everybody's been really just staying on and we've picked some people up. So thank you for being a part of this. I would love to have you on again, Frzy, and talk more about the state of America from this particular perspective, because I think, what makes this country special is its diversity. That's what makes us strong, is having all of these perspectives and ways to be. And I think it's very sad, if nothing else, that there are children growing up now under the second Trump term who don't know what life was like before this. And once again, with warts and all, no one's suggesting things were fantastic before. I'm just saying that this level of oppression is so intense so quickly right now. It makes me nervous that I think to myself, what are our children going to think when they see this madman telling them that they aren't worthy of
Right.
care, that they aren't worthy of love, that they aren't worthy of a job, that they have to jump through these really specific hoops. If they speak out in support of Palestine, they could have their passport revoked. If they,
Write an essay
speak
in
out,
college about
right. If they speak out against Charlie Kirk, they could have their job taken from them. What does that say to our children about what we value and whose life we value? And that is where I am concerned, and why I find it so important that artists continue to speak out. And I'm really appreciative that you're willing to do that.
No, thank you. And I mean, like what you're doing here, you're such an inspiration because we have to use our platforms to speak
Mhm.
out. That's the point, right? That's the
Mhm.
point of the popularity of social media, so that we all can connect and we all can talk and we all can disagree. And I
Yeah.
think that's a big thing too, is that, especially, and I'm speaking for this in the Black culture, and I've been talking to my friends about this. I've been seeing this on TV, and I want people who hear me on this and are people that are in the chats, W's in the chat, what's going on, y'all?
Mhm.
To understand that there's some things that aren't a difference of opinion.
Mhm.
Racism is not a difference of opinion,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
There's no, and I think people are like, well, we could just disagree and still get. Now I like strawberry peanut butter and jelly, not that, right? That's a disagreement. You're telling me that this Black woman is not qualified because she's Black or
Mhm.
because she's a woman. That's
Mm.
not okay, right? I need people to completely understand that.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is happening. You're talking about that with the manipulation of the society, of the brainwashing that's happening right now.
Mhm.
And it's I can't believe in that. And I know that we have to go. We haven't even, and I can't wait to come back because I want to talk about the fact that a white man killed another white man, and the protest chant is "White men fight back." It's there's I don't
It's nonsensical. It's
it is,
nonsensical.
and there's a lot of them. That means they sat in a room and was like, you know what our chant should be?
Yep.
White men fight back. Because guess who they talking to? The HBCUs. They're
That's
talking
right.
to the women, right? We're
That's
talking
right.
about, and then
When
that leads us into Sweeney. It's just, oh my god.
No, well, when Erica Kirk came on and was talking about they, and she kept saying they, that to
Right.
me was such coded language, right? When we're using these words in this way, we're not idiots. We know
You
what
know,
this means.
they are though. We not you. Who you talking to? And y'all out here super racist already. Why we sugarcoating it now?
Mm,
Aren't you confident in that space? Isn't that cool? Isn't
right.
the most powerful man in the free world telling us to pick up a white supremacist rhetoric and hold that
Mm.
and make that, because that's true American values? We're merging his face with Martin Luther King Jr. What are you talking about?
There's so much to unpack there, because I saw a meme. I almost sent it to you, and then I was like, I'm not going to ruin your afternoon. And it was like, and it was an image of all these great men, right? Like Abraham Lincoln, JFK Jr., Jesus, uh,
Watch this. Watch this.
Mar-
Keep talking. Watch this.
MLK,
This is how much we're friends. Keep going.
MLK Jr., and then Charlie Kirk. And I was like, guys, we can't both be a outwardly racist nation where we're specifically speaking about white men fighting back and also put him in the same space as Martin Luther King Jr. like
What are you?
like we literally can't do it. Like it's so wild. It's so wild. I don't know.
It goes. Who? First of all, who gave that person Photoshop?
Thank you.
Right. This is what I was gonna send you, so people can see what we're
That's the
talking about.
photo.
I saved it because I was like, "What is happening right now?"
That's the photo I was going to send you earlier.
And
That's
they
hilarious.
corrected it. They merged the colors together. So also, listen, this don't even have nothing to do. You about to make me stand up and walk. Jesus is from the Middle East. He's not white. I'm sorry. He's not. You don't merge
He's not
them.
American either. I hate to break it to everybody. He was a brown dude from the Middle East, okay? Who was an anti-capitalist.
Who gave this man Photoshop?
I
Why is
can't.
he? I mean, listen, the merging is great. When he blended the shoulders beautifully. That's not the point. Okay.
I can't.
God,
I can't.
I can't.
I know, guys. This is what happens. I mean, there is just, it's like you pull one thread And it's just the whole thing falls apart. And I think obviously many more conversations need to be had around this. I also wanted to thank Anthony Christian, who said, thanks, guys. This was good. We need more people speaking about topics that don't make the headlines because they affect millions. Thank you for being here and for being a part of the show.
Let's go,
Frzy,
Anthony. Okay, let's go,
yes.
Anthony.
Frzy, if people want to follow you and learn more about your work, where can they go? Because you're doing all kinds of wonderful things, my friend.
We're trying to make history, man. You know, we're working. I'm very blessed, and it's all from rhyming these words. You know, Frzy on every platform, FRZY. Just type it in, and I will pop up on TikTok.
That's right.
X, Instagram, YouTube, Substack, like everywhere. Everywhere you want to be, just put in Frzy, and just come hang out with your boy. Let's talk some more. You know, me and the Queen MB is gonna be going hammer time with all this stuff. But I appreciate you having me on. This felt like a little therapy session. You know?
It was cathartic, right?
We had to talk about it a little bit, right?
I know we needed to get it out.
I tell my friends, sometimes I call my friends on the phone, and I had this with you as well. It's like sometimes I just need a leader of common sense. Let me just get a swig of common sense.
You need it.
Right? Because you're looking at people, and I think that's the scary part. We talked about power is I want you to be able to see me, but not everybody need the light on. Right? Not everybody like it's just happening, right? Not everybody need a light bulb. You know what I'm saying? And like
I do.
It's like everybody got a platform that's great. But like also Google is super free. Super free. So we're in this space now where I'm so happy to be here because it's so healing to know that someone with a platform like yours, with a voice like yours, knows what's going on. Someone that also unfortunately checks every box, right? In this dynamic that's happening right now. And you being a woman and standing up for, and me, I'm a big advocate for women's rights.
I know.
Healthcare. And it's just to see these things is happening and to hear these statistics not changing and to understand that instead of us talking about that, we get free planes. And
can't.
We're not even talking about that no more.
We don't. There's things that have happened. If one of these things had happened, it would have been headlines for years. And now it's a blip. It's a blip. And I think
we almost lost Obama off of 10 silk.
That's it.
Just wanted the color code. We almost we get jets now. 10 jets. We can't even. Listen, man. I'm getting
it's so true. It's so true. And so I think there is so much to say and so much to dig into. And I try as best I can to parcel out the things that I think aren't getting as much attention as they should. And also my work really focuses on my show's called Facts Over Fear. I want to bring the facts to people so we can override the fear mongering and also, guys, connect the dots, because at the end of the day, we sink or we swim together. And I really want us all to just be thriving and not just surviving. So we have the power to change that. And it's through conversation and action. So once again, I appreciate you, Frzy, so much for joining me. Please, let's do this again.
Oh, over and over again. Facts over fear at all time. And fear is an option.
Fear is an option.
Fear is an option.
That's right. That's
Facts
right.
aren't.
That's it, baby.
Come on, we out here.
I love it. Oh, everyone, thank you so much for leaving your thoughts and comments below. And as always, until I see you again, take care of yourselves and each other. Good night, everybody.